Good morning, good morning, good morning, off the bench sports family. How's everyone? Great day, great day. It started off a little rough, but kind of fixed it up, got a little better, and I'm here. Think you guys see in the background, you see the B, you see the B. They back in the day they had a stud running back here, Dwayne. Um,
What was his last name? I can't think of his last name. He played in the late '90s.
yes.
He was a really good player.
And he's one of my really good friends, and I'm at a loss for words. So, but it's Berwick, it's the Panthers.
We're here.
This is I want to introduce to everyone first year head coach Mike Walker.
Thank you.
Woohoo! What's up, Coach?
Another day, baby, another day.
Man, I said, I started my live podcast last week from a sports bar and grill in Baton Rouge. I said, don't worry, if I haven't been to your school yet, I'm coming.
And you're here.
I'm here, baby.
You're here. You're in the building.
Yeah, one of the schools that, you never know how this travel is gonna take you. Mine is, I was just up this way last night, Tri-Parish Media Day for winter sports, and long night, up working till about 3 this morning, back up to get here. I already apologized to you once.
It's all good.
So I'm like all first timers.
Julia Gray, please come to the office.
Call people to the office.
All first timers.
Gracie Savoy, please report to the office. Rustin Scarborough, please report to the office.
It's a week ago, Savage, in between classes, so that's when they try to get everybody out of class.
All first timers, we're gonna ask that you give some of your bio. You can give as much as you like, little or a lot. We're nosy though, so we want it all. Go.
Well, first off, my name is Mike Walker. I was born and raised in Metairie, Louisiana. I played at John Curtis Christian School in River Ridge. Graduated from there in 2007. From there, I went to Nicholls State. Played linebacker at Nicholls State for 5 years, really, count my redshirt year. From there, I started my coaching career as a graduate assistant at Nicholls. Spent the next 4 years at Vanderbilt Catholic as a defensive coordinator. Then spent the last 2 years here at Berwick as the head football coach and athletic director. My wife is born and raised in Berwick. She's actually the home ec teacher here at Berwick, so the family ties run deep for me here.
I think I'm gonna start off here. Coming to a small community like Berwick, what was your transition like in getting in and being where you've been? A little bit up there on the food chain. How was the transition in coming in your first month?
Well, it makes it easy when you have, family ties to the community. This is this small community, small town, close-knit group. So for me, having those, my wife being from here, her family from here, it was a pretty easy transition. I knew people before I even ever thought of coming to work here. I knew people that worked here, knew people that came to school here. So it was a pretty easy transition for me.
I guess that is pretty cool. So you get here. How hard was it to find the staff suitable to the needs that you had to rebuild and reboot the Berwick Panthers football program?
Well, I've been fortunate to have some pretty good guys that were already on staff. Some guys that have been doing this for a long time, seen a lot of football, have been exposed to a lot of football. So most of the guys that are on staff have been here before. They do a really really good job of knowing, what our kids need, the kids in this community, what they need, how they need to be reached, how they need to be served. And I think they do a phenomenal job of doing that daily.
What did you know about Berwick football when you got here?
Well, it's no secret. For a long time, this program had kind of been on the down. Then the 2 years before I got here, they had an influx of really good athletes, really good talent. Mixed with the kind of the right situation, they were able to win some games. And I think those 2 years before I got here, it did me a huge service because it started to change the culture around here, where people, in particular the kids on the football team, expected to win. And I think that's a huge thing when you're talking about a high school football team and building a program. Is the expectation level has got to be high, and I think that's something that we're continuing to get better at and to try to change. Is that we have a winner's mentality. No matter who we play against, no matter who we, where we play or who we play, it doesn't matter. We're going to go compete regardless of the score.
In the process of getting to know kids, trying to figure out where you're going to play 7v7 or getting kids to lineman camps, what were you learning about the kids that you just met and how fast that they were adapting to what you were putting out?
Well, I think the good thing about this place, and despite the history of the program, where we're moving the program, is that the kids, they want to work and they want to get better. And I think, as long as they keep that mentality of wanting to work and wanting to get better, I think we'll continue to take strides in the right direction. My first year, they were eager and ready to get in the weight room and do the 7-on-7s and do the lineman camps and do all that work. The second summer was even better. And as we get deeper and deeper into this thing, I'm looking forward to getting it better and better each summer, where we're going to get quality work done against quality people, and using that as a tool to evaluate ourselves, to see where we're at, what we need to get better on, and to see how we stack up against some of these other programs.
Right. So the guy's name I was looking for earlier, he was a really good running back here, stud running back, Dwayne Woods. I think he went on to Nichols to play. Talking to him and learning some of the history of Berwick High School, you guys have always been a hard-nosed, blue-collar football program. Toughness is embedded in this little community. How did you go about scheduling to try to keep up with the tradition?
Well, there's a couple of teams just within St. Mary Parish that we're going to play every year, whether they're in our district or not, and that's Morgan City and that's Patterson. Those are our two probably biggest rivals, especially Patterson being our biggest rival. So no matter, those two were locked in. Whether they were, Patterson happened to be a district game and Morgan City's not, but those two will be etched in stone forever, and it should be, because it's big for our community,
right,
for all three communities. My goal for scheduling this year, I wanted to play a tough schedule to get us ready for our district schedule, because our district is one of the toughest, if not the toughest in the state. When you talk about St. James, Lutcher, Donaldsonville, Edie White, Patterson, Berwick, that's some teams that have won a lot of football games over the years, and have made deep runs into the playoffs. And so I knew that we had to prepare in our non-district schedule for that, because it was going to be tough. So that's why we scheduled South Terrebonne, who's going to be a tough physical team, Vanderbilt Catholic, who's going to be a tough physical team, Rain, who I didn't really know much about. We both just kind of had an opening, but they wound up being a pretty good football team. Cohen out of New Orleans was our last non-district game, and then we started district. So, we definitely had a tough schedule leading into our even tougher district schedule.
Right. I think I was kind of looking at it this morning. You guys in district, y'all have about, 4 of the teams in the district, but they have over 20 wins combined on the season. St. James is 9-0. Edie White has won, I think, 7 or 8 games. Donaldsonville is 6-3, and Patterson has won 2 or 3 games this season. Down a couple of years for Patterson. The Patterson Berwick rivalry is one that Woods and I talked about a lot, and you guys took a lot of lumps back in the day.
You can see. Yeah, we did.
You guys back-to-back 2018, 2019 wins. How's that for you?
No, it's huge, for our program. Because Patterson throughout the state is still, one of the when they were rolling. I mean,
Right.
they were a really good football team, and even still, they got some athletes walking the halls down, and playing for them that are really good football players. So for us, anytime we can line up and compete and fortunate enough to win those 2 games, I think it's huge for our program.
Is probably a question that most coaches don't like to associate themselves with, because the one thing that I've learned from talking to a lot of coaches is no one can depict the mindset of a kid. What do you guys have to do though to keep an upward movement in building the Patterson brand?
I think when they were really good, they had a certain mentality that it was an honor and a privilege to put on that black and red. Wear that black helmet. It meant something to there was little kids running around the stadium saying, "Oh man, I want to be like number 33 when I grow up."
Right.
I think for us to get to where they were, I think we're gonna have to get number one, win games.
Right.
Think, and that comes with the kids trusting the process and buying into the process and being all in and doing what they're told to do. I think that the rest of it will kind of take care of itself. But the community support and for all 3 of our schools in this area it's second to none.
Right.
We could be 0-10 or 10-0, and the stands are still going to be packed. The people are still going to come support. So it's definitely good to be supported.
I'm gonna give you a high five on that one, man, because sometimes when you're not winning,
no, people stop showing up.
Right. The stands go from completely full and people are mad till you may have. I've been to a game where it was literally 7 people watching and cheering for a team.
And we're blessed where that hasn't been an issue, and hopefully it will never be.
As a coach, it's your job to mentor, train, educate your guys. What is your number one foundational structure that you stand on to help get kids to buy into your program?
Well, I tell my guys, there's 2 kind of overlying themes of our entire program. Number one, it's pretty much our only team rule is do right. All the time, on the field, off the field, in the classroom, in the community, do the right thing. And I think for the most part, most of our kids believe in that and buy into it. Whether we're talking about X's and O's or whether we're talking about behavior, do the right thing. Do what you know is the right thing. And the second major theme of our program is being all in. How you can't be fully devoted to something and then say, I'm not sure. No, I want people that are going to dive in head first and give it everything they've got. And if we lose, we lose. Or we can at least live with it knowing that we gave it our best shot.
Head football coach, athletic director, how does the 2 intertwine to where you have the freedom to be able to support all of the other programs and responsibilities that you have?
Well, I think for being the athletic director, it's a little bit. Last year was the first time I've ever had to do anything like being the athletic, and it can be overwhelming at times. But I think it's a good thing for me to be able to see how our kids compete and play in other sports, and just being around them. I tell all the other head coaches and assistant coaches on campus that my job as athletic director is to make sure you have everything that you need to be successful. If you ain't got the money for it, we'll figure out a way to get the money for it. But I want to make sure that you have whether it's coach, more staff, equipment, financial need, whatever they need. That's my job to try to make sure they have it. And I think it's important that in any community, any school, because, and this is going to sound bad, I guess, 'cause I'm a football coach, but I think football is, especially in South Louisiana, football is the biggest sport that around.
Right.
So football tends to be the biggest moneymaker on most campuses, and so it just kind of makes sense that the two positions go together.
Can I say this? Agreed. Agreed.
No, it's just that's football in South Louisiana is a way. I mean, it is what it is. It's,
So
it's important.
And then I don't know. I agree with what you say. If the money maker is football, then probably the athletic director should be tied into football. If it's the money maker is basketball, the athletic director position.
Oh yeah, because some areas it's not always. I mean, football is not always. But in South Louisiana, just was
Right.
Really, all Louisiana for the most
Right.
part.
Well, yeah, Louisiana is a football state in reference to the whole culture of the state, and then I think basketball and baseball flow right there together.
Yeah, and there's certain areas where, and even in this community, really, if you look at our baseball program compared to all of our other programs, baseball is probably the best one in terms of wins and losses and championships. But South Louisiana football is still football.
Big adjustment in making sure that one team is all right and every team is all right. How did that go?
Well, that's that kind of stuff like that happens when we're doing our meetings. When I meet with the head coaches and I say, hey, look, I'm gonna take care. Whatever you need, let me know. Certainly, if a certain coach or a certain program has a little bit more funds than another, then they're probably gonna get more.
Right.
But I think as being the athletic director, it's still my job to try to make sure they have everything that they need. So if we got to go fundraise or hit up the booster club, whatever we have to do, we'll try to make sure we get it done.
No doubt, Coach. It's been pretty cool. I want to talk more, but I talk too much. Everybody knows I talk too much.
My wife tells me the same thing.
So, I don't want this to be the last time that we co-mingle together. You're a pretty cool guy, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate the support.
I think I've been laughing since we first initially met a little while ago. You've definitely lightened the mood and made it easy for me to come in here and become a friend of Berwick Athletics. So I thank you for that. It means a lot. Anything that Off the Bench Sports can do for you guys, don't hesitate to call. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
Thank you, guys.